Yo, so just before we get to the answers from the questions asked in the last video, I'm sorry that I didn't answer all the questions. Completely overwhelmed with questions. There's so many questions and it would have been impossible to answer them all. It's almost an hour long, this video, and I only answered a handful. And I've lost my voice from making that video, and I do feel like I wish I'd have spent this time making a new tutorial. So I'm not sure how often or if ever I'm going to do this again. All that being said, with this new lost voice introduction, enjoy. Hi, I'm Daniel Madison, welcome back. Thanks for being here. Thank Charlie Madison and I really appreciate you choosing to spend some more time with us tonight. I'm in my sunroom, but it's night time, so does that make it a moon room, Charlie? If you don't know who I am, I teach magic, sleight of hand, deceptions with playing cards, and I teach it all on my channel, right here on YouTube. In this video, I'm going to start answering some questions from the comment section of my previous video where I reviewed the Twisted Artistry playing cards by Terry Addy. I'm going to choose one of those questions, the one that stands out to me the most, the one that moves me, the one that touches me a little bit. I'm going to reach out to that person and send them these two decks. I'm going to send them the Twisted Artistry deck, fully sealed. I'm going to open the Charlie Madison deck and I'm going to sign it and I'm going to send it to you. I've not read the questions or the video. The Twisted Artistry video is actually just going out tonight and I've come straight here, so the questions are still coming in and I don't want to waste too much time. But before I get to those questions and those answers, a few notes from the last video. A lot of people asked me if the first minute of that video where I did a few tricks, if that was video editing. I'm not against video editing in Magic. I've talked about this in great detail in a few previous videos. I won't talk about it on this video because it's a huge topic, but that specific 1 minute, the tricks are not video edits. I can tell you right now, search on my channel for a video called Abyss. And the secret's right there. I teach it on my channel. I teach you how to do those things on my channel. The card dealing thing where I took 4 kings and I deal them and their aces. Lapping. And I'm going to teach quite a bit of lapping and some tricks that involve lapping on this channel, so stay tuned. I also mentioned in that same video that I don't really want to become a deck review channel. I'm passionate, I'm obsessed with playing cards. Playing cards are my life, so I'm always going to review decks and I'm always going to offer you advice and guidance on the playing cards that I think are good and the playing cards that I think you should use. But I'm just saying, I don't really want to become a deck review channel. There are enough people doing an incredible job doing deck reviews. My friend David, Magic Orthodoxy, go check him out. He is my go-to deck review channel. His channel is usually the first place I ever see playing cards. My friend Courier Stu, check him out, 7 Spades on Instagram. He does some fantastic deck reviews on Instagram and he's soon coming to YouTube too. Caroline Raven does some fun deck reviews. The Gentleman Wake, man, he does some really cinematic work in showing off some playing cards. I don't feel like I need to kind of add to that. I think people are doing a good enough job, but I'll always tell you about playing cards that I love and I'll always give you my guidance. Another note from that video, I mentioned that I'm not a fan of bicycle rider back playing cards, and I poked a little bit of fun at them, and there was a point that I thought of after that a few people even mentioned in the comments. Playing cards like this, customized playing cards, desirable luxury playing cards, they're not always in everybody's price range, they're not always affordable, like $15 a deck, whereas bicycle rider back decks at this point you can probably get them for $2. I don't know, I've never bought them, but I get that. I get that not everybody can afford them. It's something that I didn't think about mentioning in the video, but I do have a note about that. If you are dead serious about mastering sleight of hand and magic, and playing cards are important to you that you can't afford yet, so you're using bikes just because you can't afford another deck, then don't stop. Aim for that. Something to work for. Is use your bikes with the intention and ambition that you're going to come away from them, and one day you're going to be able to use magic to find yourself in a position where you can afford a more luxury deck of playing cards. So with those things being said, let's get straight to the comment section. I've not looked at the comments yet. So I'm going to read the comments in the Terry Addy Twisted Archery video, my previous video, and I'm going to respond to as many of them as I can. And I'm conscious of time, so I won't talk for too long. I'm known for talking, and I'm known for long videos. I'll try and keep this one short. And if I miss your question, if I don't answer your question, I apologize in advance. I'll do my best to get in the comment section and answer you with my fingers. The folder asks, how do you come up with magic tricks and flourishes? It's from a necessity. It's from a place where we are entertainers, right? So we choose to do this. We choose to pick up a deck of playing cards and show people magic and want to show people tricks. I always hope that magicians aren't doing it because they want to fool someone. That's the worst reason to get into magic. It really is. You don't do it to fool people. You don't want to go out and say, "Ha, I'm clever. You're stupid, duh." You know, like the one thing I didn't really like the Penn and Teller idea of the show Foolers, trying to fool the magicians as if that makes you clever. You know, because it kind of removes the magic from magic. Because magic is about delivering that moment, delivering a beautiful moment and an experience, like providing an experience, an unforgettable experience. And if you do magic well and correctly, you will give somebody an experience. You will gift them an experience that will last them the rest of their lives. So when we create magic, when we go into creating magic, that's all that's in mind. We want to entertain, we want to provide that experience. And I have this tattoo on my arm that I mention quite often because I live by this. Ut cum que, Latin for by any means necessary. So we look at it, this is like a broad way of looking at it, but we look at how can I deliver a magical experience to this person. That's the end goal, and this is a start point. Now how I get there is by any means necessary. So when it comes to a magic trick, it kind of depends on what you want to achieve with a deck of playing cards, and this is such a huge topic to answer in a short amount of time. So I think I will dedicate the answer to this video in a much bigger video in maybe a few weeks time. But great question, thanks for asking. Janos, forgive me if I'm pronouncing it wrong. And thanks for being here. I do recognize you from all my videos, from the comment section of all my videos. Madison, my question is, how did you accept your new style of videos, and what impacts has it had on you? Now, I assume that Janos is referring to the dramatic change that I've had in my style, in my presentation of what I do. If you go back through my career, I changed my style quite often, like quite dramatically as well. I see it as 2019 is when I really started having fun and started investing a lot of my time and energy into comedy. Comedy is such an underrated tool that can be used by not just by magicians, not just by comedians, but by any creative person. And it's something that I never really used or never really mastered or never really conquered. And also it's the most challenging and difficult thing I've tried to do. So there is an art to it. I know it looks like I'm being silly a lot, but the main reason for it, the main like drive in my mind why I started to bring comedy into my performance, into my character, is comedy reaches everybody. Comedy touches everybody, right? So I want my magic, and I want my ideas and my vision of the future of magic and what magic should be. I want it to reach more people. Obviously, I'm not here for subs, I'm not here for numbers, forget all that. I just have a vision of magic, and I find myself in about 2017, 2018 looking around at the magic industry that I was in, thinking, I don't like this place. I don't like it, so I'm getting out. And then I realized that I have this, in my position, I have a responsibility to not just walk away from that, but own it. Take some ownership and try and guide magic in the best way. So to do that, to have power to do that, I have to have more people listening to me. So comedy for me became quite divisive, but it also kind of proves that, or demonstrates that I'm a kind of a character actor, you know? I'm an actor. This is an act, you know, the performance. When we perform, we pretend to be magicians. I have a tattoo here, pretend, because it's all pretend, you know? We're trying to convince somebody that magic's real, right? So anyway, I'm drifting away from the question. But yeah, the character, go back a few years, you see a very dark character, very poetic, but it was very divisive at the time, and it reached what I wanted to reach, and it did what I wanted it to do, which is I wanted people to take magic deadly serious. I wanted people to pay attention to it in a very serious way, and I think I achieved that. Now, getting a bit older, want to have a bit more fun too, and comedy allows you to kind of break the chains. Like I found myself chained to a lot of different ideas, like the rock star, the rock and roller, and self-made cage, self-made prison, and all that. Comedy just kind of frees you from that. It frees me from that. It doesn't freeze me, although I'm a bit cold. And again, I could answer this question for hours and hours, but I'll stop there. Great question. Erin Baja. Yo, Erin, what is your definition of art? I think art is anything that makes you feel, and it doesn't matter what that feeling is. It's anything that moves you, anything that makes you think, anything that kind of breaks you out of that normality that we all find ourselves in. Art kind of brings us out of that normal state that we're in, and it forces us to feel alive and feel awake. It's kind of a reminder that we exist, right? So tattoos for me, they're a perfect example of that. It's the most expressive possible art, I believe, is tattoos, like ownership over yourself. But something as simple as, I say this and that sounds really bad, it sounds really kind of negative saying that, but something as simple as a meme, right? So memes have this ultimate power to move us in the most beautiful ways from a simple image. So we can look at a meme and understand it within a split second, and it can give us the same emotions and the same feelings that we could also receive from watching a 2-hour film or reading a beautiful book or listening to a beautiful song. So yeah, again, I'm trying to keep my answer short. Anything that makes you feel, that is what art is. I'll answer another one from Aaron too. If you could go back in time, what would you tell your 10-year-old self? I would tell him, don't worry, it's all going to be alright, everything's going to be alright. You have to, when you grow up a little bit, you have to own your younger self, right? So I often think of myself, my younger self, and I give him a cuddle, like I look after him. You've got to kind of do this. It's very good for your mental health, very good for your mind. I'd go back and I would tell him, don't worry, just have fun, just have more fun. Don't take everything too serious. Everything's going to be alright. I think everybody should tell their younger selves the same thing. Cards, magic, and music. Man, I could answer this question for a few hours. I'll try and keep it short. It's a very simple, it seems a very simple question, but it's very deep. How is the art of music different to the art of deception? I think that the art of music has so many more opportunities and so much more of an advantage to affect somebody and to make somebody feel and to move somebody and make them think more than magic. Like magic's designed to offer that experience of magic, so it's kind of, we're aiming for one feeling, right? Magic is aiming for one feeling, whereas music, you can listen to a beautiful song and it can bring you to tears, it can make you cry, and, bring back memories, take you back in time. It's like a time traveling machine. Or music can make you angry, music can make you upset or annoyed, or we don't like this song, or we love that song. Music can make us move. Music's such a beautiful thing, whereas magic's it's just got that one thing in mind. It wants to make us feel. Now that's not being dismissive of what magic is out to do. Magic is there to give people this beautiful experience where they feel astonishment and wonder. It's a beautiful thing. Arguably something that can't be achieved with music, but certainly when it comes to feelings and to moving somebody and instilling or awaking emotions and memories and things like that, music is kind of limitless when you look at that. So to compare the art of magic and deception to the art of music, they do certainly have their similarities. I think especially in approach and mastery in learning, we can learn magic and playing cards, deceptions and sleight of hand in the same way that we approach music. I mentioned this in the last video. I can teach you a chord in 1 minute, but you'll spend the rest of your life trying to make that chord sound beautiful. So it's a very similar approach to magic. I can teach you magic really easy, but The rest of it's about practice and mastering it. So, great question. Thanks for that question. A1, how big is your sausage, Daddy Matty? It's 2 inches from the floor. Well, it is now. Martin van der Kan, yo Martin, where in your life story would you consider yourself as a dishonest storyteller? What a great question. And I think as magicians, it's in our blood, it's in our nature to be dishonest. Everything that we're doing is dishonest. Your card goes in the middle, you know, where everything we do is a lie, everything we do is pretend. It's the art of lying. And I think everybody who's in a creative world, or everybody who has a story to tell, will give themselves a certain liberty of freedom when it comes to telling their own story. And for me, it's more a matter of romanticizing the truth rather than offering deception. Because if you lie, if you offer a deception, if you say, oh yeah, this happened to me when I was this age, and I went through this thing, it's too easy to find out. It's too easy for someone to look into and find out. The book Magic is Dead by my friend Ian Frisch, he writes about me a lot, and it was kind of, if I'd have told any lies in my career, in my 20-year career, he would have found them in that book. But I think what was the most fascinating for people who look into me and my background and my past is that it's more kind of shocking than I tell, because there's a lot of stuff that I can't talk about. And I can't even say it on one. I can't even tell you what I'm talking about. But for example, my days as a card cheat, for the sake of storytelling, might have been romanticized at certain points. But the truth is, I learned how to cheat at cards because I wanted to make money cheating at cards. And turns out I wasn't very good, and I was a bit overconfident with my skill level. I wasn't ready for it, but I still went for it nonetheless, and that's why I almost died from it. So, you know, I think, and I don't blame people when they do that, when they romanticize their story a little bit, because it kind of gives us comfort and it gives us a little peace. And it's a bit like religion in a way, if you think about your beliefs and why people believe in God or believe in gods and believing that there's an afterlife and things like that. It's comforting, like it gives us comfort, it makes us feel kind of warm and special. And I think a lot of people have been through trauma, been through bad things in life that they don't like to think back on and don't like to remember. So the romanticism, is that a word? The romance, that's right, Charlie. The romance of it often comes from a very innocent place. I would advise anybody who's in a position where they're going to tell stories or going to tell people about their lives to not lie. You're only going to get damaged from doing that. You're only going to damage yourself from doing that. But you do have that freedom to kind of make it beautiful. Because people like me, people like us, I know you, Martin, we are creative souls. We are poets in our hearts. So we are storytellers by our nature. As magicians, we are storytellers. So if we tell a beautiful story that belongs to us, that we've been through, and we make it beautiful, then that's fair. And it's a beautiful thing to do that, I think. Thanks for that question, Martin. It's a very beautiful question. Carlos Lugo Sosa, if you could give advice to a younger version of yourself about magic, what advice would it be? Great question. I would tell myself to take more risks, be more dangerous, the way that I am now. I wish I'd have done this so much sooner in my career. By the time I started realizing that you learn the most from taking the biggest risks, if I'd have known that much sooner, maybe I would have developed more, maybe I would have created more things. But it's certainly advice that I give to people now, especially people starting out. Take risks. Take big risks where you will mess up, where you will F swear word up, where you will drop cards, where you will be seen doing a deck switch, where you will be seen switching a playing card right in front of somebody, where they will catch you out and say, I saw how that worked, or what are you doing? I saw that. Because you will learn more from messing up, more from your failures, than you could learn from any video that I could teach you on YouTube, from any book that could be written, from any magician of any age. You will learn the most from failure. I fail forward, and I failed forward throughout my entire career, and that's how I streamline, that's how I find the tricks that are worth it, the tricks that work, the tricks that don't. You have to mess up to move forward. And also, some of the best tricks in the world, at first you might look at them and think, there's no way that's possible. But then you practice and you realize, oh wow. But then you might think, there's no way I could get away with that in front of an audience. And then you do it in front of an audience and it works. And your mind goes, I have this technique called, well, I guess it's called the drop technique, where I'm not going to do it here, we'll save it for a different video, but you're dropping playing cards into a cup right in front of somebody and nobody sees it, it goes past them. You can do it with a whole deck, you can do it with single cards, you can do it with objects, basically, and people should see it when you're learning it. And even when I was devising it, I was thinking, there's no way this is going to work. And I failed a few times, but from those failures I learned how to master it. So certainly to younger people, to not just younger people, but people starting out in Magic, take more risks, look forward to failing and learn from your failures. Travis Ramirez question, is it true you and Lloyd Barnes still eat pizza together? That's not true, unfortunately. I've not seen Lloyd or anybody in that world since the end of 2017. Also, lactose intolerant, very careful with my diet, haven't eaten a pizza in a long time. Although, the way that Lloyd Barnes eats a pizza is poetic, it is graceful, he makes love to the pizza, and that's why he got arrested. Yo, Christopher Stevens. Yo, this is a big question, man, but I love the question. I'm going to try and dissect it. In your personal evolution over the years, from your perspective, did you evolve from a card cheat to a magician, to a performance artist, or did you always see it, the art as a performance? Did you always see it as a performance, the art? It's a bigger question, but I'll start answering it before I've even finished reading it, because it's so big. That's what he said. I've always approached everything that I do. I'm a very creative person. That's all I kind of want to do and know how to do is creative things, and I've always approached them as art. So when I've gone to magic, I've not looked at it and said, right, this is magic, now I'm going to do magic tricks and be a magician. I've gone at it as Daniel Madison. I'm not a magician, I'm just Daniel Madison, and I'm doing magic. And if you approach everything like that, you don't fall under the umbrella of it. You don't step into the cage of it. And what I mean by that, you don't put the costume on of a magician, so you don't have the restrictions that he has. If you're just you and you happen to do magic, you can ignore all the rules and you can just do whatever you want. You can do it your way. Same with music, same with filmmaking, same with any kind of creative idea. So I've always considered myself just to be me. And I've always found it quite unfair to call myself a magician or gambler, card cheat, mechanic, all these words. I've always found it unfair because I don't consider myself to be those things. I'm just me doing them. I think if everybody approaches magic and everything that they do like that, they'll find that the ceiling's lifted and the freedom's just completely opened up, because you don't have to, oh, that's not how magic's done, you don't do it like this, a magician wouldn't do that, a magician doesn't do it like this. All these negative things just disappear. And because of that, then it starts to look like something more than what it is. It starts to look more than magic, because I guess it's no longer magic. So I've always seen that as the performance art of it, because you're making it real, right? I have this tattoo on my hand, right where I can see it every day. Marina Abramovich said the knife is real. The bigger quote is, the difference between performance art in theatre, performance art and theatre, is in performance art the knife is real. In theatre it's not. When we're doing magic, when we're learning to perform magic and learning to master magic, the whole point is to make it appear real. But if we're doing that in the costume of a magician, then how can it be real? Because people will look at this magician shaped thing and say, it's a magic trick. Whereas if I do it as just me, I like this thing that Luke Jamay says, and I say it a lot, something strange happened here. If I can make my audience, my participant, my spectator walk away and say, I met somebody strange today. I saw something strange, then I've won. I've won because I've gone beyond magic. Whereas if they walk away and say, met a magician, did a magic trick, yeah, it was all right. You know, so when we approach magic as if it's not magic, when we approach music as if it's not music, we give ourselves so much freedom to breach the boundaries of it, and then it becomes something wonderful, something real. And I guess that's what I kind of refer to as performance art. Great question. Justin Chavis, what's up with the sausage and how can I make my classic pass invisible? We don't talk about the sausage. You make your classic pass invisible by not doing it, by making it invisible. Don't do it. I don't do a classic pass, I never have. There are a small number of slides that are widely popular, that are widely known, that are kind of sought after, that, you know, people get into magic at an early age and they hear these slides like bottom deal, center deal, second deal, classic pass, and they think, oh, I have to learn that. Everybody's talking about this classic pass, everyone's doing it, so I have to do it as well. I have to master it. I'm 20 years into my career and not once have I ever had to execute a classic pass. Not once. So don't listen to what you're being told. Don't listen to what's around you from the wider audience, from the wider, what word am I thinking of? From the wider voice, from the resounding echoes of the echo chamber of the magic industry, because everybody will tell you, oh, how good's your classic pass? Let's see your classic pass. And it becomes a big willy competition. The same thing with kind of dealing. Second deals, for example, is another one. I don't like second deals. I've never had a need for them, and this is coming from card tables, from actual gambling. In Magic, my second deal, a second deal is a good example for actually, because it's another competition. It's another big sausage competition with magicians, and people call themselves mechanics, card cheats. Or how small is your brief on the second deal? Let's see your second deal. As if it makes a difference. My brief is huge. That's what he said. What? But yeah, classic pass. No need for it. No need for it. But I'm gonna make a video about that to further explain, but no need for it. You make it invisible by making it invisible. Adam Marquardt. What is a time in your life where you feel the most proud of yourself? I hope this doesn't sound cheesy, but every day I'm a little bit more prouder. Like we always aim to be better versions of ourselves. At least I hope people are like that. And if you're not, then what are you doing? I always aim to be a better version of myself, and self-improvement, not selfishly, but selflessly. So a big thing for me, a big practice in my life in more recent years, and over the past year, to be honest, is selflessness. Trying to master selflessness, and it's such a difficult thing. It really is. It's one of the hardest things I've had to master, but the more I practice, the more I kind of develop that. I learn so much more about myself. And also the learning to accept yourself and to love yourself and to be proud of yourself is a very, very difficult thing. And I'm not alone in saying that I've struggled with that over the years, with accepting myself or being able to look in a mirror even. You know, I know people struggle. We're not alone. We're all kind of the same. So I'm kind of proud of myself day by day, and I always feel like I've made progress when I look back on my days and look back at what I've achieved, and the fact that I'm consciously trying to develop myself for the best possible reasons. And I'm proud of myself, you know. I look back on my career and I keep saying myself, I'm proud of decisions that I made in my career. I'm proud that I followed my heart and followed my calling. I'm proud of it because way back then I had a really good job. I was a stockbroker and I left it, walked away from it to pursue magic. And it could have gone both ways. I could have stayed in this high-powered job, big money-making job, or I could have picked up a deck of playing cards and messed around on YouTube, and I chose to do that, and I'm proud of that, really am. Big Rig TRMC, when will you do some performance videos? I'd love to see street magic from you. I made this promise that when I get to 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, I'll start taking the camera out and I'll start performing everything. I want to perform everything that I've taught. I want to show you what it looks like to the public, to an audience, to a person. I've never been a fan of the intrusion of a camera when I'm performing magic. I can be performing a card trick and magic to somebody, and you could have this beautiful experience. If you introduce a camera to that, the dynamics changed so dramatically. Not with everybody, but with a lot of people, and I've experienced that one too many times, and I didn't like it. But I certainly want to kind of fight that when we do get to 100. But also, I don't want to wait until we get to 100. I don't want to kind of hold myself hostage to that number, and I don't want to be that guy who says, "Oh, subscribe, let's get me to 100,000." I don't really care. All of my performances on film, all of my kind of audience performances and things I've done on the streets and out in the real world were mostly all filmed for television series that I worked on. But also, by the time I walked away from the TV show, which I can show you some of it, by the time I walked away from it, I started working for other magicians as a consultant. So it was important that I wasn't seen performing on film, because the credit shouldn't be coming to me. The credit goes to the person I'm working for or the person I'm consulting for. I do have quite a few old videos on my YouTube channel. Have a search. You'll see me performing. There's quite a lot on there. I look a bit different. Changed a lot. Giovanni Palladini, would you ever collab with other YouTube magicians? Yes, of course. Yes, I would. And I'm looking forward to some cool collaborations. Not many people know Chris Ramsey and I are actually good friends, and I've missed out on a few opportunities where I've been invited to hang out with those guys when they do their YouTube summits, when Chris does his YouTube summits. But the timing has just never been right for me, and I'm trying to work on this thing that I have, this pride issue that I have. Like, I don't want somebody else to be responsible for my success, right? I know that's pride. I know it's coming from not a nice place, but I would hate to take Chris up on his offer and go chill with those guys at a YouTube summit, and then all of a sudden I have 1 million subscribers or more subscribers than I need, because that's on somebody else's back. That's because of it's disingenuous, it's not honest. I want my numbers to reflect accurately, and I want the only people I want on my channel and listening to me and spending time with me are people who want to be here, and people who find this place for the best of reasons. I know that's pride speaking when I say it a lot, and pride is a sin, and I need to work on that. I need to get over that. And Chris and I, I'm sure we're going to work towards a cool collaboration, but at the same time, like, the reason that I've passed on a few of those invites is because the timing's not been right, and there hasn't really been a good enough or a rewarding reason. And that sounds harsh, and it's not. What I mean is, I don't just want to do a collaboration for the sake of it. It has to have meaning, it has to have substance, it has to be for the best of reasons. So that time will come. And also, there's quite a few other YouTubers that I speak to on a quite regular basis that maybe we'll see collabs from, but it's all about timing. It has to be the right timing, and it has to be for the best of reasons. So yeah, look out for collabs when the time's right. I'm going to answer 2 more questions. Thanks for being here, Yasin. Yasin's a very good friend of mine. I have him tattooed on my arms. He's my 5 of spades. Thanks for coming and asking a question. When will you have the happiness or the chance to see a Madison Gaff deck 2.0? I know that, yeah, you're really into Gaff playing cards. I made a Gaff deck, so the Madison Gamblers were a Gaff deck, and the whole point of every Gaff in that deck, they were designed to hide. So in Magic, Gaff playing cards would typically be revelations. So have you seen that horrible 4 of spades that you shake and all of the spades fall to the bottom of the card, and then you can hand that out, and then they're expected to believe that that happened by magic? It's pathetic. It's a shame to Magic, and I hate Gaff cards that are like that. So I designed my own, and I made my own to kind of arrogantly show them how it's done. This is how it's done. But at the same time, it gave me an opportunity to play with some gaffs that were designed for like card cheating demonstrations. So all of my gaffs that I've worked on are ones that are never revealed, but they achieve a trick, if that makes sense. So that they enhance deceptive practices. And I have thought quite a few times about making a new version, because there's so many gaff ideas that I have that are still up here that are never been put out anywhere or never been used. But as with many things I do, and as with many things I work on, it's about timing. So Yasin, You've put it in the front of my mind now, so who knows. Thanks for asking, man. I'm going to choose one more question from the list at random. I think I've got to the bottom of them now. I mean, I've not refreshed it, and if I've missed your questions, sorry, I'll try and answer in comments. Another familiar Hervé, my brother. Which advice would you give to somebody who wants to work for or with you? When it comes to, like I just mentioned with Chris Ramsey and collaborations, the ideas of collaborations, you can't just work with somebody or work for somebody because you want to. Like, excuse me, this might get into a deep question now, a deep answer to a simple question. When I started working at Illusionist back in 2011, 2012, Pete McKinnon calls me up. He's like, yo, Madison, we love your card stuff, we want you to do a trailer for us. So I did a trailer, went out to Vegas. Pete's like, come and work for us, come and work for Illusionist. So I was like, okay, what's the job, what do I do? Then they created a job, like they created I was consulting already for magicians, TV magicians, stage magicians, and they said basically do what you're doing for the guy on TV, do what you're doing for him, but do it for us and appeal to the magic industry, to the magic audience. So I did that, and they created this role. Anyway, one of the most common questions that people would ask me, people in the magic industry, magicians, how do I get a job at Illusionist? How can I work with you? How can I get a job in this company? And the real answer was, the job doesn't exist. It's not supposed to exist. You're not supposed to get a job selling playing cards or selling magic tricks. The job really isn't supposed to exist. It kind of existed because people want to learn magic, people want to buy playing cards, but at that point in time, my purpose was mainly a role model, right? So I was there to kind of change the shape of magic, or the way that magic is sold, the way that playing cards were sold. I was kind of there to be the rock star and to be a rock and roller, wanting to do a collaboration and wanting to do things like that with somebody. You can't just kind of go up and say, oh man, I love you, man, can we do a collaboration, can we do anything, man, I don't care as long as it's a collaboration. That's the sentiment that I don't like, the whole, let's just do it doesn't matter what it is, let's just do it, it'll be cool, you and me on film, or you and me on this project. I don't really like that. So when somebody wants to work with me on something that doesn't really exist, it doesn't make sense, and it feels a little bit cold. It's like, oh, I just want to be seen with you, or I just want to do, just want a project with you because it's you. It's a weird situation to be in. Whereas something that presents itself, something that exists, and something that's kind of happens organically, and it has a natural path that leads to it, that isn't forced, that's natural, where two people find themselves meeting each other. That's a beautiful thing. That's where the most beautiful collaborations come from. Going back to Chris Ramsey, when we made the Knights playing cards, when we made that deck, that happened in such a beautiful way. We didn't set out to make a deck of playing cards. We didn't say to each other, oh, it'd be cool if we had a deck of playing cards. We were just both really into chess, and we were playing chess constantly. We were more chess friends than magic friends, playing card friends. And the idea of using chess in magic, or using chess pieces to mark a deck of playing cards, started us on this really organic, natural journey. And they're the best kind of collaborations. That's kind of where they come from. Obviously there has to be a starting point where something like that is created, but when you want to collaborate with me and you want to work with me, and not just you, H, anybody, like, it has to kind of come from a mutual love that's kind of happened organically or naturally. So H, I know that we're both into similar things. I know you a little bit, right? We know each other. I know that we have these similarities, and I know that when we're together and when we can kind of get together and jam creatively, then we can find that thing. And this is such a long answer, by the way, to this question, but collaborations, yeah, I think what I'm trying to say, it has to be a genuine thing. You can't just come along and say, I want to work for you, I want to work with you. It has to exist already. Like, you have to have the thing there. Talking nonsense. Sorry, Charlie, been talking too long. I have to choose somebody now to who I'm going to send these phone cards to. I'm going to open this one and sign it, and I'm going to sign it to Christopher Stevens. Thanks so much for the big question and the kind of deep question that made me think and made me talk a little bit more about my idea of performance art and why I consider what I do to be more of a performance art than anything else. And thanks for being around. I've seen you in the comment section quite a few times, and I've seen you somewhere else too, which I'm not going to say out loud. And it's nothing dirty for anybody else listening. We're not sausage buddies, if that's what you're thinking. Or are we? Charlie, I think I'm losing my mind. Chris, I'll be in touch. These will be on the way to you soon. Everybody else, if I missed your question, thanks so much for asking me the questions. I'm going to go straight to the comment section after I've had a break from this, and I'm going to answer as many questions as I can, and I'll try and answer everybody who asked a question. I'm a teacher of magic. I'm a guide of magic, sleight of hand, and deception, and I need to be guided myself. I need to know what you want to learn and where you're struggling and where you need help. So let me know in the comments and any other kind of questions, and I'll do my best to answer everybody. On that note, I'm losing my voice, I'm losing my mind. I swear to God, Charlie's moving over there. So it's probably best that we end this video right now. Thanks so much for your time. I'm Daniel Madison. See you next time.